ahead, I defer to you.
I'm just the wife.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. I'm on this farm a lot, and she's not just the wife.
We raise purebred Dorset sheep here. We have about 125 ewes, and we lamb them out 3 times a year.
This field was always dicey about cutting hay or growing crop. It was always wet, it was always late. So we had always toyed with the idea of tile draining it. Ducks Unlimited contributed to the pond excavation and layout. We have agreed that we don't pasture or cut hay on the far side of the pond directly opposite us until the 15th of July because we have meadowlark and bobolink. Whenever we see a program that encourages us to restore or improve the area around the pond, we try to take advantage of it.
What you do want is this messy look. You don't want neat, trim, and tidy because there's a lot of cover here for all kinds of insects. Bob has accomplished a farm goal with this pond and this planting because he's been able to drain a field. He's accomplished conservation goals and he's accomplished pleasure goals because this is also a place where his son spends a lot of time and Gail spends a lot of time. It doesn't have to be this big sacrifice, you know, you don't have to be a martyr to do this. The petals of the flower are basically advertising, saying, you know, this is where you can find food. That is the stigma, so that's the female part of the flower. And all the pollen has to land on the stigma, and then it will fertilize eggs inside of this little ovary. So this is the male flower. You know, I'm in love with this pollination system because it's so beautiful. The color is beautiful, the nectar tastes delicious, everything about it. So in this case, the pollen has all fallen off, but that's the anther. Okay, that's where the pollen is produced, it's released. Oh, okay. I put this in my mouth. And I can go in here and suck up nectar in the same way that a bee would.
Oh, look at that.
Look there. At that.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, nature's
And then you can try it. Do you want to try some?
I'd love to.
What you see on this farm, which makes it so interesting from a pollinator perspective, is you see small field sizes. As opposed to 100-acre fields, you're seeing maybe 15, 20, 30-acre fields. And around those fields are hedgerows. That is the thing that makes this place completely independent of honeybees for pollination. They have bumblebees, they have squash bees, and they have all kinds of other little solitary bees that do all of their pollination. The fields are small enough that if the bees are living on the edges of the fields, they can actually fly into the middle and do the pollination and fly home again. They have not planted anything for pollinators as far as I know on this farm. But what I'm seeing is that when there's enough places to escape the insecticide use, it seems to be some kind of a happy coexistence. When we talk about loss of habitat with bees, we're talking about loss of nesting habitat and we're talking about loss of foraging habitat. So when we try to create habitat like we're doing here or on those other farms, we want to include nesting habitat too. These are the easiest things in the world to make. They cost $0 because you use old baling twine and you use invasive Phragmites. Little bees will occupy each one of these rods, maybe not all of them in one bunch. Every rod or every stem is one nest. Bumblebees are crevice nesters. They need a hole, a substantial cavity. This is how it goes. Watch carefully because you may not understand. This is your pot. This is your straw. This holds the straw in place. Turn upside down, bees go in through hole. You want the ground nesting bumblebees, then you have to sink it into the ground and you sink it to this height so that the hole is exposed. You want to do that at this time of year because the bees will be making their nests far earlier than you'll be ready next spring. Don't make your nests anywhere where you will be, because if you put it somewhere where you will be in a battle all summer long with bumblebees.
This particular farm we purchased about a year ago. It's 275 acres. I guess our objective is, again, a livestock-based farm with forage and pasture and hay and trying to maintain that without commercial fertilizer or without reseeding. I guess I've come to appreciate the more variety of species you have the general health of the whole environment of the farm is enhanced, and it's a good indicator of the well-being of the farm. There's crown vetch, there's red and white clover, there's trefoil. There's a lot of blooms coming on them now, and again, of course, that's going to lead to seed, which helps to reseed the whole program. There's plantings right along here for pollinator type habitat, and to protect that, we just grazed that yesterday. We just ran electric poly wire right beside it, and that's very limited impact, very limited input for us to do, and it protects that whole spot till it gets established.
I'm dreaming of a beautiful serviceberry hedgerow here that can be grazed from both sides, but provides a little bit of a windbreak and is absolutely gorgeous in the spring and provides food for pollinators. So I hope that's